Welcome back, everybody, to 31 2000s horror movies for Halloween, where I'm counting down my favorite horror movies from the year 2000 to 2009. So at the number 7 spot, we have a werewolf movie, and one of my favorite werewolf movies of all time, and that is Ginger Snaps.
I didn't betray you.
Well, you locked me up.
I love werewolf movies. I am a big werewolf fan. When it comes to vampires and werewolves, I do like vampires, but I'm a bigger fan of werewolves. I'm a dog person. I love wolves in general. Wolves and foxes are like some of my favorite animals. So just werewolf movies I just have a lot of fun with. I'm a big fan of body horror, and I've always considered werewolf movies to be a part of body horror, because body horror is about the human body going through horrible transformations, and werewolf movies are literally about people transforming into something else. So Ginger Snaps is one of the best werewolf movies out there. I seriously think it belongs up there with the likes of An American Werewolf in London and The Howling. Kind of a twist on the werewolf genre. It does a few things differently that you don't see in other werewolf movies, and I really appreciate that. So it is called Ginger Snaps, and one of the main characters of this movie is a woman named Ginger. Hey, it's a pun title.
Don't ever touch my sister again. Stop me, freak.
So we have these two high school girls, Bridget and Ginger. Ginger is the older sister. They are these goth girls that have a very close relationship with each other. They have this... They're goth chicks, so they have this obsession with darker things. You know, they take a lot of pictures of the two of them pretending to be killed and all that. They are the outcasts in school. As the movie goes along, Ginger is going through puberty. And one night they're out, in the middle of the night, and Ginger gets attacked by a werewolf. Now, she starts off with all these wounds, but the wounds then heal very quickly, and then the werewolf cycle slowly starts to begin. And what I love about this is a perfect movie to watch around Halloween, because it's building up to Halloween. The full moon happens the same night as a Halloween party, so yes, this is a good Halloween time movie. But Ginger starts going through changes, and again, she had her first period, so the interesting, symbolism of the movie is Ginger is not only turning into a werewolf, she's becoming a woman. A sexy woman that most of the guys were ignoring at first, but now they're paying attention to her because she is now gone through puberty, so she's, becoming more of a sexual being in some cases. And of course you have her younger sister Bridget, who she's watching her sister kind of go away from her because they had such a close relationship, but she's also learning that her sister is becoming a werewolf, trying to deal with that. And Ginger's sex appeal towards, Ginger's sex appeal is partially caused by this werewolf curse, because the werewolf element is making her appear more sexy or seem more sexy to the men of the high school. It's a whole thing, but anyway. The whole werewolf thing is a metaphor for a woman going through her period.
Oh, shit. What if I'm dying or something?
I mean, we've all been there, your older sister goes through their first period, they go through puberty, and they become a fucking monster. I'm just kidding, that didn't happen to my sister, it happened to my brother. But one of my favorite things about Ginger Snaps, which is different from other werewolf movies, is the transformation happens gradually. As we get closer to the full moon, Ginger starts changing. Like, before we get to the full moon, she starts going through these little changes. Her hair color starts slowly changing. Her eye color starts kind of changing. Her teeth start becoming more pointed. Her fingernails start growing into more claws. She starts looking more canine-ish, and she has a tail growing out of her ass.
Look what Pamela had. What are you doing?
starts off as this little nub and gets longer and longer as we're getting closer to the full moon until we actually get to the full moon and she goes through the full transformation. Now that is, of course, it's an interesting element to the film because we know that she's going to turn into a werewolf, but like, it's hard for werewolves to change the monster in general because they lose all control during the full moon and they change during the full moon. But in here, it's even harder to hide because she starts changing before the full moon. There's small changes that grow over time, and I love that aspect. Now, Katharine Isabelle plays Ginger, and she's great in this movie. She is a scream queen. She's big in the horror genre. She has a big fan base in the horror genre. But I have to give credit to Emily Perkins, who plays her little sister Bridget.
No scratch. Swap some juice. We'll be our own pack like before. So us be.
I'd rather be dead than be what you are.
Katharine Isabelle tends to get all the credit because she is the monster of this movie. She's wearing the makeup. She's, becoming sexy as all this, as she's getting closer and closer to becoming the wolf. And it's easy for her to steal the show, but Emily Perkins does a great job as Bridget. Bridget is the younger sister who her and her older sister had this bond, but you could tell that the older sister was sort of the leader of the group. She was the one who kind of took charge and said everything they were going to do. But you have the little sister watching her older sister, kind of separate herself from her. And in many ways, Bridget is the one becoming her own person, developing her independence from her sister. Because her and her sister had such a close bond, and her older sister kind of insisted everything that they do, and in a way kind of controlled both of their lives. Bridget is not only trying to help her sister, but trying to separate herself from her sister and become her own person.
Let me out!
I have to deal with the cure. This way you can't hurt yourself or anybody else.
Fuck you fucking sissy little girl!
Yeah, Emily Perkins does not get enough credit for this film, and she gives a great performance. I mean, it's, nervous and subdued because she is the younger sister, and you can tell she's a bit of an introvert, but she's coming out of her shell, trying to help her sister, trying to take charge, trying to be the one in control of this situation that is clearly going out of control. And then we get to the third act of the film where Bridget finally becomes a werewolf. Now, it's no surprise that she's going to become a werewolf. It's a werewolf movie. They make it very clear what's going on. I like the design of the werewolf here. It's, wolf-like but hairless, giving it this very unique design. And it leads to a great jump scare. I think that this is one of the... Personally, if I were to pick my top 10 jump scares, the one in Ginger Snaps, I think, is one of the best jump scares. Because for me, this is the perfect way to do a jump scare. One, do it sparingly, and two, don't end the scene after the scare. Most jump scares, there's either a false scare, or they have the jump, and then they end the scene. For me, this is a perfect way to do a jump scare because the jump happens, but then the scene continues, and the danger is still there. So you're going along, you get the jump, which puts your adrenaline up here, and then the tension continues. So you're not dropping back down, you're still up at an 11, and then the tension continues on. So the tension is now happening with your adrenaline up here. But yeah, Ginger Snaps, it's just all around a great werewolf movie. You have two great performances here with Katharine Isabelle and Emily Perkins. And I think both of them do a great job. I mean, yeah, Katharine Isabelle is great, but Emily Perkins also gives a great performance. I think with the way they perform and the dynamic between the two, I think if you had a different actress in either role, it wouldn't have worked as well. So yeah, Ginger Snaps, a great werewolf movie. I think werewolf movies are perfect for this time of year, and this is a perfect werewolf movie for this time of year because it takes place on Halloween. So yeah, Ginger Snaps, great werewolf movie. Recommend it, especially for Halloween.
Get out. What happened? Something is really, really wrong with me, Pete.